Back again for another video. Today's topic will be about the women I've encountered. But I want to talk more specifically about what they tell me, and the women who are currently in my life, what they tell me. This is more of a conversational piece rather than a informational piece, but it does have a bit of information in it, so stay tuned for that. Oh yeah, don't forget to hit that like button. I gotta start saying that. Gotta get that channel where it needs to be in order to get this message spread. I don't care about the money or anything like that. I probably will never monetize my channel. I don't even care about it unless it's super duper lucrative. I don't even want to be famous, so I'd rather just keep my following to a manageable level. But anyways, on to the topic, the women. So throughout the time that I've dealt with women, there has been a consistent truth that they have always told me. I remember my first marriage that I was in. My wife at the time, she was a complete virgin. Though that situation did not end how I predicted it would be, but I learned a lot of things from that. And one thing that has been consistent about what she told me on and up is that she said that I'm different. And I don't mean that in a way of me probing her for answers or me, trying to coax something out of her. This is just something that she told me without being prompted, due to, the way I carry myself and the type of conversations I have. Now, this is back when I was early 20s. I'm late 30s now. But this is back when I was, around about 24, 5, something like that. And she told me this, and it stuck with me for a long time. The reason why that stuck with me for a long time is because I've always thought that I was different. Not because I think I'm special or anything, but because of the way that I've been treated for most of my life. As much as people find me to be a very charismatic person, I don't have many close people in my life at all. And I'm totally fine with that. I've been a lone wolf for a very long time. This is partly where I came from when it comes to my ideology. But nonetheless, when I was growing up, I would be called different. And I would think that it was in a way that was derogatory because a lot of people didn't associate with me. But as I grew older, I started to learn that the difference that they were talking about is the difference of you don't belong here, you belong somewhere else. And they weren't saying that in a way that is off-putting, but meaning that there's a place where my talents are meant for, and where I was not it. And throughout the relationships that I've had, this has often been a common sentiment that the women have told me. For instance, my second wife, yes, I've been married a few times. This is before I started to come into my manhood and my complete ideology. I've been through a lot of things. I've experienced a lot of things. The reason why I tried all these things several times is because I wanted to know the truth. And in order to know the truth, especially coming from a demographic that does not get married often, you have to experiment. So that's what I did. They're probably listening to this like, you experimenting with me? But I'm sure, I'm not even sure they even listen to my channel, but if they ever came across it, I would hear about it for sure. But nonetheless, I learned that I was different. In my second marriage, my wife at the time also told me the same thing. Once again, this is reoccurring. She told me in a different way though. She told me that I'm too good for her. And I never really understood what that meant. And still to this day, I'm still piecing these puzzle pieces together, because I've been told this in very different ways by everyone around me, that I'm different, that I don't belong. And once again, they're not saying this in a way that is off-putting or down-putting. They're saying this in a way to indicate to me that there is something that I should be doing that I am not, at the time where they were saying this. Now, moving along to the rest of the women that I've met. I've heard these same things being told to me, that I'm too good for them, that I'm too much for them. And once again, I don't think of myself as a high person at all, but I now have to give the disclaimer to any woman that I meet here on, that these are the things that you will encounter about me, because these are the things that I didn't know exist, that have always existed, because I thought that everyone was like me. It's kind of strange being so different, but thinking yourself is not being so different, because you are who you are and you view people to be very like-minded in who you are to be. But I've come to find out throughout the years that this is not so. I think very differently. I approach things very differently. I see differently with different eyes. And for that reason, my perception of reality is very different. My reality is very different. The things that people go through and that they see, I tend to see them in a very different way. Sometimes I'm not right. I'm not right all the time. I never claim to be. I have I calculate I have about a 80% being right average. I'm 80% right most of the time. And this is being honest with myself, because I've done the math on it. But nonetheless, when it comes to who I am and what I represent, people have always told me. It's just that I didn't want to acknowledge it. Even now, to this day, there are women who still tell me that they look towards me for answers. They look towards me for direction. There are also men who tell me the same thing as well. I don't want to make it seem like this is a thing where only women seek my knowledge, but many people ask me these questions. I don't know if I've told you guys before, but even in my interpersonal life dealing with my parents, they call and they talk to me all the time. They get knowledge from me. My mother, she asks me things all the time. I tell them about my thoughts and they're oftentimes astonished still, even though they know me all my life. I tell my father the same thing, and he's a philosopher himself, which is where I get it from. But nonetheless, he is one who tries to rebut what I have to say. But his knowledge base is not the same as mine, and he understands this. And I'm not saying that I'm more intelligent than him in any means, but I have more experience with accessing this knowledge back and forth over and over again. So I'm well versed in it, and he understands that, because there are certain things that I say to him that he's like, yeah, you're right. Though he has much wisdom to impart, and I do take that from him when I can. But nonetheless, it's very strange in the position that I am. I don't necessarily want to be here. I think back on when I was younger, I always wanted to be included. But now it's turned into a question of, it turned into a question of, do I want to be included? And then it turned into a stance of, no, I don't want to be included, because I have a different position in this world. I have different things to accomplish. I'm starting to realize more and more as the days go by what I am meant to do, because truth is consistent. I'm consistently shown that there are certain places that I do not belong, because I'm not completely accepted there. And it's not because people don't want me there. It's because they can see something that I don't, that there is a different mission that I am supposed to accomplish. And they are pushing me towards that by differentiating themselves from me in such a way. But I thought I might put that out there, because I think that's an important piece to add to my channel. Once again, I don't think of myself as being highly than anyone else. There are many men out there, many women out there who have much, and great knowledge to impart, and I listen to them. I don't look at them as being lesser or greater than me in regards to a conversation, until you make yourself out to be an idiot or something like that. But for the most part, in this space, everyone seems to think very critically, and they rarely say anything without thought. So I am pleased to be amongst people who have the same abilities as I do. But once again, I am still being taught and told that I don't belong here. and that there's something that I am meant to accomplish that is potentially greater than my purpose and where I currently stand. But until next time, like, comment, and share. This has been a Wolf in Beta Close. May you have a good day, and peace be with you.